every time the mind stops thinking, there appears to be a stirring, a very silent stirring, very soft and subtle stirring. And of course, most don't get that non-thinking mind state for what we call a decent period of time. You know, I can stop thinking, but then something breaks me out of it. A thought breaks me out of it. And I'm thinking again. And of course, when you look at what thinking is, it's every time something, what you call, makes a reaction to who I am, what is taking place. Could be a past thought, future thought, could be the thought I'm thinking. The thought I am thinking is a thought. The thought I have managed to not think for 3 seconds is the thought that breaks the thought of non-thinking. So the whole beauty of breaking the ego, snapping the ego out of it, you see, because ego cannot and will not take a permanent back seat. It will always push its way somewhere, because it has to, you see. It has an important role to play, although on the snapping and the breaking out of it, it's despised, you see. But it's despising itself. You see, there's only one thing going on here. There's not different variations of mind, although it appears to be different energies, different frequencies, different, outward projected thoughts, which mean it's not the ego, it's about the world. Inward projection thoughts about me not having so many goodies in my life. Poor me, that's determined as the ego, but it's the same mind. So this mind has to be here, but and the snapping out of it is what they call, I don't know, the Hindu terms and the Buddha terms, and I don't know if it's Satori or whatever it is, but the snapping out of it is a revelation of peace. Okay? Now, of course, we're terrified of that. The mind is terrified of losing that what it is serving. It doesn't want to snap out of peace in case we don't reconnect. The body and the soul and the spirit have all disappeared and went off in peace, and I'm supposed to be supporting it, and I'm supposed to be looking after it, and I'm supposed to be caring about it, you see? That's a kind of ego, but it's a kind of genuine connection to the body and the soul and the spirit. So it wants to know, you see, that's why enlightenment and awakening. And of course, these are words, these are terms used, but that space of freedom, that space of just reaching a point where I can't continue like this. Ramana Maharshi laid down to die to this. The speaker also took that same course of action, not knowing about what it's speaking about now. Just, I want to snap out of this. But that mind that snaps itself out of it will not snap itself out of it until it knows the body is 100% safe. There's no what we call, self-harming action. I'm not going to snap out of it if he's going to do something stupid, like if the body's going to do something stupid like this. So there has to be that will to snap out of it, that will to die, as Ramana Maharshi put it. But knowing, something deep inside knows that it's going to be okay. And even if this body does vanish and disappear, and whoever I am perishes, and I've made the wrong move without the mind, whatever's going to take place is going to be okay. It's not a dream of I'm going to heaven, all that bullshit. It's just that everything is going to be okay. So the mind makes damn well sure that this condition, this state of your body and your soul and your spirit is able to survive, because it won't leave you to die. You see, completely. It wants to change its form, its action, its route, its ways, its methods, because it's become sick, you see. So a very able human being that is not feeling that horrific way is very unlikely to awaken. But also, the one that is extremely, extremely suffering may take other actions because it has no faith on the ego that appears to be destroying it, but it's destroying itself. You see, that it's they call it the dark night of the soul. And I would advocate that no one has to go through it. But to not go through it, the human has to recover its original, simple, loving and compassionate and kind ways. And that's what the ego and mind deal with every day. Always trying to resort you back to the state of what you are, with no sudden shock, sudden disconnection, sudden impact, sudden awakening. It doesn't want to take that chance that you'll do something, spirit, the body will do something that is not intended, that's not supposed to do. That's why any teacher that has experienced it in a way that it is so traumatic. I mean, I now believe, myself, I now believe that the trauma, the shock, the double shock, the single first shock that Eckhart Tolle speaks about, awakening in front of the mirror, was enough. But the second shock, when the voice of what we call consciousness of God says, stop this ridiculous seeking. Now I give you the love and the respect for recovering that what Christ was sent to do, but enough is enough. Now these two shocks affect the brain, and any neuroscience or neurologist will tell you that. And this brain was affected to the sense, I don't know if you know about New German medicine, but when you are shocked into such joy, you're shocked into depression, into anxiety, into having to take an action that is not human. So that's a negative shock. And then the sudden shock of joy does not give the brain time to recover. Therefore, that's why I had many medical problems ongoing afterwards. But anyway, that's some warnings. But realistically, what is revealed through this, I would say, very simple, basic human mind, is that the human is the life of the human is so simple, so easy. It's so liberating. It's so freeing. It's so loving. It's so beneficial to nature when it restores its simplicity, because there's not that desire, that need to just bore your way. I don't mean boring, I mean bore like the drill, bore your way through certain aspects that is unnecessary, to create conflict unnecessarily, to speak openly about things that are really irrelevant, and to just be grateful for the very simple things in life, to be blessed with a body and breath and humans and nature, and the simple things like the sunrise, the simple things like the glow on the new wispy barley that is just gently, it's caressing yourself. You see, you don't know whether the world is moving around you or you are moving around the world, but realistically, none, but both. So the subtle thought, when there's no thoughts, there's no need to describe the barley, there's no need to describe the sunrise, because it's just an act of being. And the larger the space becomes, the more alive you and this life, I wouldn't say become, appear as. You're fulfilled with the essence. You see, the essence is not a sensation. It's not a ear, eye, nose, mouth, tongue, fingers sensation. The essence is pure consciousness, pure and loving. But it's only here through being. It's not through here about doing anything about being. Not putting any action into the mind or into the body. Everything is taking place on its own. You may find yourself walking and you don't know you're walking, but you do. But it's of no concerns of what's taking place, because everything is just swirling and loving like that gentle breeze. You become the corn, the barley. You become the colors. You become one with nature. You become one with all human. But you don't tell anyone that, you see. But this is what the speaker is saying. This is achievable without that dumb awakening, enlightenment, and ego destruction process. It's just about being grateful, learning to be grateful. Learning to be grateful for everything that appears when the gratitude appears. You don't have to force gratitude into every breath, into everything. But when the need, when gratefulness itself arises, be present with it. And everything's okay.